Chat, Future Ready, Preparing Wealth Firms for What's Next. Before we begin, let's cover a few housekeeping items. All attendee lines are muted. We encourage you to participate in today's session by submitting your questions in the chat box on your webinar console so our speakers can see them. Leading today's discussion is Randy Lambert. He's partner and head of RIA Solutions at Intentionally. Randy brings 30 plus years in financial services, scaling RIAs and wealth tech platforms to 75 billion AUM and $5 trillion in AUA. He excels in client-centric operations, tech alignment, and scalable support. He finds balance spending time with his wife, family, grandchildren, and caring for their 40 chickens. Also joining us today is Babu Sivadasan, co-founder and CEO of Jiffy AI. He's a serial entrepreneur with deep public company and engineering experience. He co-founded Jiffy AI and Investnet and was CTO of Stamps.com, a public service contributor, an active angel investor. He mentors startups across Silicon Valley and India and is passionate about driving digital innovations. With that, Randy, let's begin today's discussion.
Hey, thanks, Jasmine. I appreciate it. And Babu, it's great to have you on this webinar. You know, Babu and I have known each other for a number of years. Back in 2018 is when we met, and Babu and Jiffy AI became a valued partner of Orion and provided a lot of operational efficiency for us over the years. We did some RPA together, some automation back in the day, but now, you know, Babu's solution has advanced, and really excited to have a conversation with them. We're definitely at an inflection point in our industry with the way that technology is moving. The amount of consolidation that's happening creates a lot of complexity. There's pressure on expenses with talent costs and technology costs increasing. And you need solutions to be more efficient. But beyond that, we also need the ability to increase advisor capacity and support their ability to meet the expectations of their clients that have increased as technology has gotten better. And so with that, I'm just going to dive into it, Babu, with my first question. You know, we're watching AI and personalization converge at a speed we've never seen. From your vantage points, what do you see the next 6 to 18 months? What does it look like for wealth management firms?
First of all, thank you, Randy. Thank you for having me on. I cherish our friendship and partnership over the years, you know, so I appreciate you having me on. When we talk about AI and what we will all experience, there are two things, you know, that come to mind. One is hyper personalization. You know, for the first time, you know, every advisor, every client can feel like, you know, they are the only client that advisor has, right? Now that's the potential of AI, right? Now, so you remember that Jerry Maguire, you know, where he had a roster of one client, you know, that's how an advisor can make the client feel, right? Now, so then the second thing is about bringing real delight into every piece of the engagement, you know, that between advisor and the client, and between the home office and the advisor, you know, bring real delight into those engagements, or you know, every experience, you know, that you have with those stakeholders. That'll get really elevated.
Yeah. So what's kind of the biggest risk? Like I see these situations or these studies that come out, and they talk about firms that are using AI or automation platforms can be 80% more efficient and frees up 30% of their team's time. And so you think about that. I think there's a lot of risk for firms that don't do that, but what do you think the risk is if they don't modernize now?
Yeah, I think, you know, I would say we have been on a modernization journey, you know, for the last 25 years, you know, so like, you know, on a different kind of modernization journey, you know, where you went from paper and desktop tools to cloud-based software, right? You know, that, and relying on that as the backbone of your operations. You know, that has been a significant transformation that has happened. That's when I got into the business first time, right? Now, when I remember walking into an advisor's office, and all I saw was stack of paper all over the place, and he explained to me, searching for a client in his tool that took, almost like couple of minutes, to even to get a search result. And so from there, now we are in a very different era, right? Now, every 20 to 25 years, what happens is, there's a significant shift in technology, underlying technology, and we are experiencing our biggest technology shift of our lifetimes as right now. So that is something, that you cannot sit on the sidelines on, and most organizations are aware of it, and they're trying to figure out a way, right now, on how to advance the technology forward, and what kind of things they could do. I get a lot of questions asked all the time. If you remember back in 2018, like when I was starting evangelizing this AI journey, at that time, a lot of people have told me, no, that feels like a pipe dream. It'll never happen, or it's fancy. What does that mean? But today, that ChatGPT moment has really changed people's perceptions. Yeah. So if you don't take on that transformation, you're going to be left behind. You won't have the scale that you're looking for. You're not going to have the client. You won't be able to appeal to a broader clientele, like not just the baby boomers, but you have to also go all the way to the Gen Zs, so that you're appealing to that whole household, and you won't be able to do that.
Yeah, no, that's a great point. I love your example. Seeing files everywhere. When I started in this industry, I used to have folders, and they would get almost as tall as me before I'd go file them. And it's just crazy. And we had a couple hundred million in AUM. There's no way that we could have done, be $1 billion shop without receiving that data. But yeah. Like now, it's kind of that next iteration. We were able to receive it in the early 2000s. Now we're able to do actionable things and exciting things with that. And so I'll kind of dive into my next question. You've talked about before, a next operating system for wealth management. Can you paint your vision for what Jiffy AI is building toward 2026?
Yeah, so how we look at the industry, three themes, that come to mind. So one is about unifying data. So when you look at AI only operates if you have meaningful data, right? So unifying data becomes the #1 theme. Second, using that unified data to derive insights, and those insights, tell a story, and then applying those insights to elevate those experiences between the stakeholders. That's what comes to mind. So when we talk about unifying data, let's talk about what that means. That means we have aggregated data in the past too, right? But now we are talking about a different kind of aggregation. It's not just the financial data, the custodial position, transactions, tax lots, performance, etc. Not just that. You're talking about every engagement that you've had with your client. You're getting all of that data, every preferences, unifying data from your CRM, you're unifying data from your email systems, so unifying data from your text messages, engage every piece of interaction that you've had, being able to unify that and make sense out of it. So that requires a very different kind of a warehouse, and once you put those together, that data together, and then you unleash the power of LLMs, a lot of insights come out of it, a lot of things, that you haven't thought about. And then you take that and apply that to the engagements, so you give, that client who is walking in the long lasting that first impression. Our industry doesn't do a good job, always, present, even the best digitized firms, I'll tell you, when I open 5 accounts and I get five different envelopes, for signatures, so even a digitally advanced firm, right? So that experience needs to be elevated, and I think that is possible.
Yeah, so when we started working together, it was really about automation back in 2018, and the piece kind of changed and is very different today. And one of the things that you've talked, you can go deeper on this on the engagement AI, but engagement AI that connects the data, the decisions, and the workflows. Kind of speak to that and how Jiffy kind of is a part of your tech stack. It's not necessarily like a replacement. It's a way to bring it all together and harmonize it. Can you speak to that?
Yeah. No. So for the first time, right now, I think humans and machines can collaborate more seamlessly. To the extent that you wouldn't be able to tell, whether it's human or machine doing it. That is, that's really possible today, right? So what that means is, you can easily delegate things, that we don't want, and those invisible computers behind the scenes, will take care of that, for you. So imagine a journey. First time, you meet with the prospect, every bit of information, discussion, everything, that you discussed is captured. Action items are derived from that, and then you go through that journey. At some point, they become a client, but during that entire journey, you've collected a lot of information. Those information going into the respective next steps, which is going and automatically, preparing plans or automatically preparing account paperwork and getting them ready, provide a digital experience for them to just sign the paperwork, right? And we keep them involved in that process, not just printing reports and giving it to them, right, to the client, but have digital ways of engaging with them, collaborating with them, and being able to get all that done. That's fundamentally possible. So start with a great first impression that way, and then subsequently, every meeting, every engagement, every interaction that you have with that client, is an opportunity to demonstrate that you are that Amazon experience, and nobody says no, Amazon experience sucks, right? So being able to make the client feel like the things that they are used to, right? From other well thought out great firms, you can deliver that experience, so being able to be remembered, right? Every interaction, the clients thinks that beyond the performance and beyond the value that you deliver on the investments, being able to really be that true financial coach, right? And that's what customers are looking for.
Yeah. So let's get a little more specific. I know last year I was out at your house and you're showing me, actually I think it was your daughter that was showing me some of the things that you were working on your iPhone and anyhow, so when we think about Jiffy's roadmap, like what are some specific things that get you out of bed now for 2026 that get you excited about what's on the roadmap?
The things that excite me is that real transformation that you can do to the advisors day in the life, right? So while the advisor is asleep, the agents are going to work. They are not going to complain, and they're getting you ready for the day. When you wake up, the first thing you look at that mobile app or your workstation, and it is helping you organize the day, right? So these are the meetings that you have. Boom, you click on a simple link, and everything that you need for that meeting is there. Whether it is the financial plan that you wanted to present or a proposal that you want to present, it's all auto-generated, like for you, getting you prepared for that, and being very contextual about it. Not every client wants a cookie cutter, so being able to, if it is a follow-up visit, you're able to, or meeting, you're able to present the right information, right context, what the client based on the past preferences and things like that, what you can present the right kind of content. So being able to deliver that, is going to be great. And then once you are in that meeting, everything that you talked about, every great advisor is a great listener, a great coach. I mean, being able to really resonate on a personal level, right? And while you're doing that, in the old-fashioned day, you're also writing notes and things like that, which is going to completely go away. And instead, you can straight look in the eye and just have that meaningful conversation, right? But without missing a beat. Every piece of information that you discuss will be captured, and then those driving the next steps. It's not just about summarizing and sending an email, but it'll go way beyond that. It'll go all the way. It'll go, and prepare the plan, and it'll go and prepare the account opening paperwork or follow up. If it is an ongoing maintenance requests or things like that, preparing those, that'll happen. Then afternoons, you can imagine the kind of help it can provide in terms of the growth side of the practice. Like every advisor is trying to grow, and identifying opportunities from your relationships to your existing clients, mining social media and things like that, trying to find opportunities, delivering those, not just operational efficiency, but also helping them on the growth side of the equation. Those are possible, and that's what getting that. What keeps me awake at night is delivering that delightful experience, for both the advisor and home office staff.
Yeah, Babu, I was thinking about all the different technologies. I look at several technologies every week, actually, and one of the things I've been most impressed with Jiffy AI is that you're not just a point solution, you're a platform. And a lot of people say that, like, hey, we're a platform, we're not just a point solution, but you really built the solution around the whole experience for the advisor or for the home office, and even for the end client if they wanted to use a client portal. But like, whether it's advisor transitions or onboarding, or an advisor workstation, or a data lake that helps you visualize the information that's important to run your business. Those are all really great value adds, but it could be overwhelming for someone to look at, like, oh, I'm not sure how I plug this in. So what's the fastest path for firms either using AI or using Jiffy, to get started? So maybe just kind of your thoughts on how do you get started?
Yeah. So one of the beliefs that I have is, if you're asking an advisor to take a bet with you, right now, you need to be thinking long term. You need to have a solid foundational capability that will last for the next 20 years or 25 years, right now. And that is a tall order, right now. Today, there are a lot of AI companies. You put a layer on top of OpenAI or some of these foundational technology, and you can call it AI, right now. So and there's plenty of them, but where it breaks down is going deeper, right now. So like as I mentioned, AI ready data, that's not easy, right, unless you step up to a deeper responsibility of connecting the ecosystem and being able to derive information from many systems. Mm-hmm. So one of the things people do worry about is, okay, I've made a lot of investment in technology already over many years, right, and multi-year engagements and things like that. So we have taken a very careful path of having a solid foundation, but then being able to fill that work with that foundation through integrations into the existing, a deeper level of integration that can coexist and unify the application stack. So that is something. So you are no longer entering data in 5 places, which is crazy, right? Mm-hmm. So that and that still happens. When we go and talk to prospects, and we talk about, are you entering data in financial planning system, and TAM system and custodial systems, and everybody says yes, we are doing that, and then that should be a thing of the past, so a lot of the foundational capability, being able to build delightful systems or applications without writing any code, that was a foundation. I mean, that was a passion of mine, a lifelong passion, I would say. So being able to see that come to life, and in real situations, where you're integrating with their existing infrastructure and still be able to deliver meaningful experience improvements, on top of it, using AI. That is great.
Yeah. No, I've been really impressed. One of my customers leveraged your tool, and they built a custom onboarding process for transitioning from one LPOA number to another at Schwab, and you guys did that in a number of weeks versus, trying to, years or whatever it might take for custom development to get done. And so, like, I've seen some real differentiators with what you're saying on the onboarding of customers or investors. And the other thing that you just spoke to, that really I appreciate what you're bringing to the marketplace, is the ability to connect a lot of different solutions under the workflow, and being able to be the workflow engine behind multiple systems versus trying to live inside of a CRM, which I've always found the CRM workflow process is really lacking, and you've been able to build something on top of that. But one of the I was wondering if you had a case study or a thought you wanted to share with for a growth-minded RIA.
Yeah, so what does a growth-minded RIA look for, right? So you're trying to scale the business, so you need two things, as part of your offering, right? One is being able to get the best efficient processes, in place, so that you're maximizing on the investor capital, right? And then second, being able to bring on a new advisor, right? And deliver a great experience, just like an advisor wants to deliver a great first impression for the investor, the end client. You want to deliver that great first impression for the advisor. So make that process of onboarding that advisor very, very smooth. So we built a lot of capability around that transition of the advisor from so that they hit the road running right as soon as they come in, right? So and then making it easier for them to deliver that delightful experience for their investors on an ongoing basis. So it's been great to see that bring an advisor in, then enabling them to scale after that advisor comes in, right? So both efficiency side of the equation and growth side of the equation, being able to power both, has been great.
Yep, that efficiency side is so important to receive, organic growth. But your transition tool that you built is really smart in this environment of consolidation. And so I think that's a great point that you make, that having that advisor transition tool to automate that process and help eliminate some of the horrible, I know there's been horror stories on that. And so you've really worked to solve that as well. So there's
Randy, one thing you asked about that workflows, so one of the key things is understanding the workflows better. There are a lot of workflows. Workflows are very generic terms. So you can say very simply, okay, well, I get an email request and I forward it to somebody. That's a workflow, right? But that doesn't mean anything, right? That doesn't bring you efficiency.
Yep.
Efficiency comes in when you get those requests, understanding those and acting on it to a large extent, making sure every system along the way is connected and gets the same representation of data, and then we're doing about 90% of the work automatically. And still the advisor wants to be in the mix, right? Now, so no advisor says, okay, I want everything to be fully automatically done where I don't even know what is going on. Advisors want to be in the knowing, they want systems to do about 95% of the work, but the advisor wants to be the one communicating with that end client so that you maintain that communication.
That's great. Yeah, so there's a lot of fear about AI replacing the advisor. I think that's kind of a nonsense art. I mean, it's not nonsense, but it's not. What's really kind of the thing that advisors should be concerned with is if you keep the status quo, that's a sure way to leave the door open for your competition to leverage automation, AI, and those great experiences, and that's going to capture your clients over time. What does AI actually mean for advisor productivity and client relationships to you?
AI is probably one of the most fascinating technologies that will have profound impact on the advisor's productivity. I could easily see about 40% improvement in productivity, which we are beginning to see already, right? But then with respect to the client, even when you are not able to answer questions and things like that, something, that technology that is able to answer that just like, you would, right? Being able to mimic more or less how you would answer and advise, that's value. That's tremendous amount of value, right? Because, the clients at the end of the day, when they have a need, they want, whether you are available or not, they want to get the job done, right? So being able to provide that, and being able to really deliver that intelligent, financial life, that's something, have been talked about a lot in the past. So being able to deliver that in a more meaningful way, that is possible with AI. So I would, when the robo advisors came along, there was a lot of confusion, a lot of tension there, but then what happened is every advisor adopted digital ways of engaging with the client, and the same thing will happen here. So every advisor will adopt AI, and the human value, right? And that advice and that engagement, that friendship, that life coach, that's very, very valuable.
Yeah, talking about advisors being future ready, it's really about being client centric and helping them feel supported and connecting their financial lives more effectively. And the people that are able to more effectively are going to be the ones that are successful. And that's really kind of the genesis and mission of Jiffy AI, is to help connect the advisor to the home office and the investors to the advisor, and just have a really great experience, delightful experience, as you always say. So give me a couple of your predictions here, and what's next?
Yeah, I would say majority of the organizations will embrace AI. But when I say embrace AI, I go a little deeper than that. So they will prepare and be ready for embracing AI. What that means is you have to be able to bring in an AI-ready data warehouse, if you will, just getting files from custodians and putting it into a folder doesn't get you prepared for a AI future, right? And so you want an AI-ready data warehouse. That is something, that I expect to be, a significant progress. Majority of the firms would be doing that. And second, they would be actively looking at delighting that engagement, or experiences between them and the client, so tools, that empower, or AI capability that empowers that engagement, so that is something, I expect, a lot more firms actively working on.
Yeah, I have a couple of things I would like to articulate to the people watching, and that is, every year we're at a time, and maybe you can do it even more often, that is just audit your technology and your processes, not with the idea of making major changes with your technology, but to help optimize and refine that, I just think you have to look at things every year. Otherwise, you're going to fall behind. You're going to wake up 5 years from now and find out you're using that technology in a way that was designed in 2020, not 2025.
Absolutely.
So you really have to bear down and review everything you're doing. And then I think one of the best ways to develop a culture of innovation is to develop a competency of continuous learning within your organization. And so doing that and building that continuous learning and kind of as a value or behavior that you're trying to promote will help you with the innovation. You just have to you have to have somebody that helps control you don't want to wake up and have 25 different pieces of technology either. So got to have some discipline around that. But yeah, we have a little bit of time for Q&A, and I have one question that came in, Babu. If you could give firms one piece of advice for 2026, what would that be?
As I mentioned, take a look at your how ready you are for AI. And make sure you have a solid foundation of data. Right now, that is the number one thing, because without that, you won't be able to derive value from your AI investments.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, thank you for your time, Babu. It's been a pleasure to collaborate with you, and we want to be respectful of people's time. We said it'd be 30 minutes, so we wanted to try and keep it pretty close to that. And if you have any questions for Babu and you want to reach out to Babu, how can they get a hold of you, Babu?
Babu@jiffy.ai. That's easy enough. And I'll respond in a jiffy.
Perfect. Well, thank you. Have a great rest of your week, Babu, and appreciate your time. Enjoy California.
Thank you very much, Randy. It's been a pleasure.
All right. Bye.
Bye.